Hey guys, today we're going to be going away from the norm of my usual videos and we're going to be talking about why Roblox has been so dry and why it feels like overall it's just dying recently. This has been a topic that me and my friends have covered multiple times and we've picked up on pretty much everything I can think of that would actually be causing this issue, and it makes a lot of sense when you're looking back at it. There's going to be a few categories that I'm going to be talking about today. Unfortunately, we've got Roblox greed, the lack of ability for anyone to start developing, the overall performance of Roblox, considering like the amount of lag you have, the lag spikes, the frame drops, all of that. There's no real passion in developers anymore whenever it comes to the games. Content creators are just straight up farming you. They're just farming you for views, likes. They're just trying to get money. They don't actually care about the games. They're not trying to help bring any games up. There's a whole issue there. There's the lack of content creator passion, which is part of that. They're not really trying to play Roblox games. They're just trying to get money. And then player standards. These are all going to be things that I'm talking about today in depth. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the very first thing I want to bring up is Roblox is incredibly greedy. It is such a greedy company. As you guys know, for Roblox to make money, they have players make games, and those games end up becoming a big success, and when they do, they get a lot of Robux, which in turn gives Roblox money, and whenever you go to cash in your Robux, you go through this thing called DevX, right? And most games are getting about 20% of the cut that they would be making, and Roblox takes 80%. This is an insane amount of money that Roblox is getting to do pretty much nothing with it. There's been no upgrades to the platform. In fact, every single time they update, there seems to be a new problem going on with Roblox when it comes to performance, but I'll get into that later. That's a whole separate part. And Roblox doesn't really allow other payment options for players to give. Like, there's only Robux, and that's a huge problem when it comes to like new developers trying to come in and make a game that actually have a passion for it, and it's not just somebody with money trying to make more money, right? But that's a huge issue as well. And then also, I could get it, right? Because here's the thing, here's where the 80% is going to, right? Roblox, the main thing on why they think they should be getting paid this much money is, one, they have a lot of players on their game, so in general there's going to be a higher chance for your game to become a success because there's so many people on the platform searching for games in the first place. And two, they have to spend monies on server costs, data centers, and trafficking, right? So that's a huge thing too. But that's only 24.39% of the money that they make goes towards the servers, data centers, and traffic, right? But that means they are still making 55.61% of the total revenue whenever players purchase Robux and then they spend it on a game or something, right? That is an absurd amount for them to be doing pretty much nothing but just sitting there and allowing other developers to make games to make them more successful. That means anybody that's going into it, unless you're a huge game, you're not going to be making any money. So in order to make like 2,000, right, which is, I would say, is a pretty decent amount of money that you could make between like paycheck to paycheck, right? In order to do that, you're going to have to make $10,000. 10,000. That is a ridiculous amount of money. You need so many players to be purchasing on your game to be able to make enough money for one person to start living. That is terrible. There's no new developers that are going to be able to come in, and if they are, they're going to have to work a job and be developing full time and have absolutely no freedom at all. It's just complete grinding. It is terrible. Also, do you guys want to know why Holy War X and Rel C's hasn't come out yet? Guess what? They're making $250 per every person that pays for tester. That is way more revenue than they would ever get by actually launching the game. But in general, for how much people are paying for that, they should actually have testers in the game. There's multiple reasons, right? Because not only would it be a healthy movement for the game to do, if you have players on your game, sure, a lot of players are just going to be on it just to play the game. But you're going to have those few people that are genuinely intelligent when it comes to game developing, and they have a really unique mind and creativity to make the game better, or they see problems within the balancing of the game to be able to fix it. There's a lot of reasons to have testers in your game because it'll genuinely improve your game by an incredible degree. You're not going to be moving as fast because you're going to be polishing things you already made, but you're going to be making the game at a way higher quality than you would without testers. So that's just a terrible thing for them to do in the first place. I don't know why they happen to allow testers to get in. And they let content creators get in because that's going to be more business for them. The more people that see their game, the more people that are going to come to it. But content creators, I'm sorry, but they're not the most intelligent people. They're just in there for the views. They're just saying what they need to do to get more people to subscribe and actually view their videos to make more money. They don't really know what they're talking about most of the time. Now, there are definitely some out there for sure. I'm not going to say there's not, but for the most part, it's just people that are just farming it. Alright, the next thing I want to talk about is the lack of ability for anybody to start developing. And this ties into the money a lot, I'm not going to lie. So a big portion is people aren't able to make enough money to really start a developing game. And what that looks like is there's a lack of graphics, there's a lack of quality in models, VFX, and that all comes down to like what players are looking for, right? If you come to a game and it doesn't look like the highest standard, most players are going to just click off the game immediately. They're not even going to give it a chance. So to be able to even get in here and start working on anything, you're going to need players backing you. And to get players backing you, your game has to look good. But to look good, you need money. And you can't make money off Roblox right now because the amount that you're getting is just way too low. Even if it was 50-50, it would still be something. They're still scamming you, but you're getting something, right? It's like they would still be making 25% without the servers. And they're already having such a bad platform to be making a game on anyways because the performance is absolutely terrible. It's garbage. It's completely garbage. And it's just a huge problem. And whenever you look for developers to be working on your game, they're either too expensive, right? Or they're actually good and they don't have really good work ethic, so you hire them and it takes them like a whole month to produce like a single like model, animation, a creature, anything, right? It could be anything, and it takes them like extremely long time to do anything, and it's just not worth it. So you either have lack of talent, right? You have people that are too like really talented but they're not doing anything with it, and then you have people that are talented and they don't have good work ethic, so nothing's ever going to be able to get done. Or you get people that's already made it and they're way too expensive to buy to have them start working on your game. So it's incredibly difficult to even find developers to be working on your game in the first place. Now, you guys have been hearing me talk about Roblox performance, and this has been a huge problem for years. If you play on any game outside of Roblox, you'll be in your own servers, you're on like 10-20 ping. When you're on your servers on Roblox, you're at like 80 to 60, right? And this has been a major issue recently, and it hasn't been ping. There's actually some hidden stats that aren't as easy to find that are really messing things up. Like if you go to the micro profiler, for example, you'll see like the GPU time, the CPU time, and the job wait time for how long it takes for the server to actually give the information to actually sell it to the player, which is going to add to the length of delays within the game, right? It causes a lot of problems. And they've been trying to fix it. I hope they've been trying to fix it for a while now. But instead, what they did is they've actually added negative numbers to your ping to make it look lower. Because if you hit Shift F3, you'll see your actual ping. It'll say like 30 when you pull it up on Roblox. You look at your ping, it'll say like 70 or 80. It's like, it's terrible. You pop up the micro profiler, which very few people even knew about, and it also has negative numbers. It's saying to me that my GPU has a negative 20 ms reaction between each frame. That is literally impossible. That means my computer is processing the information before it's even sent out. They are adding negatives to the numbers in order for it to look better on them because they're not willing to put in the work to actually fix their problems. Absolutely terrible. And that's just a few of the issues going on. There's also frame drops. I'll see me drop from 240 to 100. This is terrible because that actually changes the input times as well as the visuals of what you're seeing in the game. You'll see things like freezing. Somebody will use an ability, it freezes, and then it goes. It makes it impossible to react to. It's just absolutely terrible. So like, why are we paying Roblox 80% of the revenue to do no good updates? There's no quality of life. It's a hard game to work on. The performance is absolutely awful. There's just no reason to be paying them 80% of the revenue when the developers are doing all of the work to make the games that are going into it. Now, the next big thing I want to talk about is developers, because we all know it is not just Roblox's fault. It is everyone's fault as a collective. So the first thing I want to talk about is how developers are farming you, right? Here's the thing. They're not making good games. They're making complete trash. What they're doing is they're giving you NPCs. They're giving you abilities. They're giving you M1s. Sometimes it doesn't even go that far. And they're just telling you to go out there and go fight some things, right? But there's no depth to it at all. And most of the time, it's just dopamine farming. Straight up. Now, sadly, Devil Hunter is not open anymore. Devil Hunter was a very prime advocate to this. It was really good at farming players. One of the things that they did right off the bat to make you want to play the game is the sound effects. You hop in the game, you start hitting some M1s, you start hitting some abilities, and you'll hear some massive, like, bassy sound effects. They're just, like, in your ear. It makes everything seem super impactful. And it's like, whoa, I'm really doing something. When in reality, what they're actually doing is farming you to make you feel like you're good at the game, even though you're not. So there's a thing with combat, and this is just the example for Devil Hunter. There's many other examples I could give you on Roblox platform on their own on what they do to make you feel like you're better than you are, so you actually play the game. So something that Devil Hunter does is they make it to where the combat is so fast, and it might feel good, right? The movement's pretty free. You have sliding, you have dashing, you have an uppercut. It feels tough, right? The animations are so quick, and the sound effects are really cueing in, and it sounds really good. It feels good, but is it actually good? I would have to say no. One of the biggest portions to combat games in general is having an in-between. A lot of people, when they make animations, there's a start and there's a finish, but there's no in-between. And what this means is, since you see the start, you know, as soon as you see it, you have to react. And a lot of the times, it's so fast that it's not even within the human capabilities to react to things. Oh, then how am I parrying things? Well, first of all, there's something called tempo. So something that a lot of people are actually doing is reading the tempo of the fight, or specific tempo that the player they're fighting keeps on doing. And you're like, all right, he's going to M1 here. He's going to parry here. And it's not actually reactionary and thought out, right? Versus if a game has an in-between, you see the start of the animation. You can read off of the start which animation it is. It has a middle, so you see it swing through. It gives you time to react and actually do something about it. And then the finish is whenever they actually connect the M1, right? And it has some sort of end lag, hopefully. Although that's kind of a stretch for a lot of these games as well. But since that doesn't exist, there's no middle portion, there is no thinking. Versus in a game like Fairy Tail Re, I'm not trying to like shout out Fairy Tail Re or something like that, but we do have the middle part, right? You can see the animation play all the way through, so it's like, all right, he's about to do a fireball. So I have a few options here, right? I can either PB it, I can dodge through it and go for a counter attack. I can try to cancel his attack with my own attack. I can just straight up dodge out of the way. I can maybe block. I can flash tap around him and then M1 him. There's options, right? Instead, it's like he used it and I immediately have to do something or I'm cooked. Or most times you see it and you can't even react to it because it's straight up out of the human limits. A lot of these games, the M1s are like 140 milliseconds, and even that is longer than a lot of these games are doing. And keep in mind, the average reaction speed for most people is around 230, I would say, for gamers. That's not enough time to react to anything. You're straight up just like memorizing what people are doing and patterns people are doing and trying to react off of that, versus actually having a combat that has IQ in between each action that you can decide another action to be doing. So they're farming you to make you feel good, and you're not actually good at the game. Unfortunately, the game just doesn't have that much skill that you can actually have in the game. Versus something like Fairy Tail Re, there's been moments to where literally Wizard Saints have been able to fight an entire server. You don't see that in any other game. Most games, if there's 2 people on you, you're cooked, because there isn't enough skill gap in the game that can even exist for you to be able to 1v2. But what do they do to fix this? It's alright, they got you. Because who needs animations when you can't see them? When you see VFX all over your screen to the point where you can't even see your own character, and it just makes you feel like, oh, this is tough. This looks really good. Yeah, it's good quality graphics wise. You'll look at it and be like, this is a really pretty game. It feels impactful. Sure. But when it comes down to playability, it completely cuts skill out of the window. You're not going to be able to get better at a game whenever everything is built around just the pure looks. You're just not. Really big games that are known for this is actually like Rel Cs, for example. You have Rel Cs, you'll see animations, like they're not really anything too big. The only times you're going to see an animation is if you're getting knocked back, you're going to be rolling back. You have the Geppo grab where you throw them up into the air, you Geppo up to them. And that's really about it. You have M1s, you see the swings? Sure, a little bit. But if there's an ability on your screen, you're not going to see the person's character, you're not going to see your own character, you're just going to be seeing VFX. You see mobs, and the mob is entirely covered in VFX the whole time. You don't even see what's going on your screen anymore. You're like, what am I even fighting? You can't even see what you're fighting. How can you tell what's going to happen if you can't even see the creature itself? Like, you're not going to even know. There's no skill in that. There's no fighting. You're not learning patterns. You're not doing anything that makes the game good. Another thing is the balancing for these games. They're terrible. If we take a step back and we look at Devil Hunter again, Devil Hunter actually has terrible balancing. From the get-go, whenever I started playing the game, right? At first it was fun for the first couple of days. People didn't know how to abuse things they had. It was cool. I hopped into the game. I was new and I was beating players that were already like max level. But then as I moved on and I got better at the game and I realized what was in it, huge problem, by the way. Something you could do in the game, because the stun times were so low, combos were not true in the game. If you just pressed M1, you would be able to M1 them after somebody used an ability, because the lag, or the in lag, was way too high for the ability for the stun time that they had. It was absolutely awful. And then you have abilities in general that are just doing so much damage that it doesn't even make sense. The stats aren't scaling properly. Most of the stats are completely useless. You have, like, it's... The M1s are so incredibly fast that they're not even reactable, so you're just pressing parry every single time you think they're about to M1 you, instead of actually looking at the M1. You see it start, you see it swing through, and then you time your parry with the swing. But instead, it's like, alright, bet, they're M1ing me, I'm just going to press it when I think they're about to press it again on tempo. Bang! You get the parry, you get out. That's kind of how it goes for pretty much any game right now that's parry based. It's not balanced at all, the timings are awful. It's just a terrible experience overall. And the thing is, because all of this is a thing, we're also getting games like Steal a Brain Rot. We're getting the games like Slide a Brain Rot. We're getting all these simulation games, right? And it's just not fun. It's not fun. They're just trying to get money most of the time. And then you have the few players that do try to make an anime game, and you know what? I'll give them props for that. You know, at least they're trying to make something. But the thing is, developers don't even play their own game. And what does that tell me? That tells me that you don't even like your own game. You don't care about it. You don't have fun on it. Now, I'm not saying every developer doesn't play their game. Some probably play it a little bit. But like, for example, and I'm not trying to do this to actually like shout me out on Fairy Tail. Me and Dan, we play Fairy Tail Re almost every day. I've had thousands of hours into the game. I genuinely have a really fun experience when I'm playing that game. And that's something that developers should be doing in general. Why are you making a game that isn't your favorite game? That just tells me that you don't care about your game. That's lack of passion, which is our next step, right? So the reason why we're getting games like Slide a Brain Rot, Steal a Brain Rot, we're getting all these stupid games that don't even like, it's not a fun experience, right? It's strictly because why would I spend the time to make a massive MMO RPG that has a lot of in-game depth, building, it has a lot of content, you can go to a whole bunch of different areas, there's fun events that you can do, you have all this, like, it's just a massive, beautiful game full of content that you would want to play, your dream game, right? And why would I do that when I can spend a day to make a brain rot game, and I can create a template. I can copy the template. We can add in a different brain rot. We post 10 of these every month, every week, and each one is making you tons of money. So why would I take the time out of my day to make a game that is actually worthwhile, most likely is going to go unnoticed, when I can just make a brain rot game and people will play it? I'm going to get money. Now I can make a living. Like, why would I do that? And I will say a big reason why we're not getting too much passion from developers in general is because the only people that we're seeing games from are people that already have money, because Roblox has taken too much money for new creators to get onto the game. All these indie developers that we used to see on Roblox that would make games, and we would see new unique games coming out that have their own really fun concepts, their content, they have really cool abilities or whatnot, they have whatever it is, right? Those people aren't going to be able to make it. And there's a reason for that, because the people that have money are able to spend money to make the game look really appealing to the eye, and players are going to play that game. Because whenever you see something that graphically looks really good, you automatically think this is quality, but you don't actually have the actual mindset for that. Because, like, realistically, as somebody looking in on it that has been like a top player in multiple games in and outside of Roblox, I know a lot of things that makes games really good and really enjoyable that I'm going to come back to. And whenever you're just looking at how pretty a game is, you're missing out on the end lags, the stun times, the timing between the M1s, the abilities, the readability between animations, the sound effects, the VFX. Like, you're looking at everything, because like VFX matters too. If your VFX is just massive and it just comes out instantly, that's not reactable. Like, that's a terrible thing. You make mobs are just swinging instantly. They're hitting you as soon as they start their attack. It's just a bad experience. You're not going to be able to get better at the game. You're not going to get the accomplishment for playing it. It's not like Dark Souls, right? You play like a Dark Souls game or Elden Ring game, you're fighting a monster, they have patterns, they're readable, you're able to dodge, you can parry, you can do like so much within that fighting. And that's what it should be looking like with PvE on Roblox if it's a creature, right? But instead it's not. It's just big AoE spam, and they just attack, bro. And there's like no readability, there's no skill that goes into it. It's not an enjoyable experience. And we don't even have to talk about PvP. There is nothing that is good on Roblox right now for PvP. It's actually terrible. You know what? Let's get into that, actually. Let's get into the PvP on Roblox, right? Deep Oaken, which I would say was a really massive change for Roblox in the PvP direction. I'll say that. They did a really good thing there. But there's a huge problem with Deep Oaken too. Deep Oaken's offense is really bad. The game is built upon defense. Defense is the highest stat, to the point to where they have a parry every single time they want to click F. That means at any point in the combo, you're able to get out. Everything is untrue, and it's just M1s, and you're just parrying. That means it is a complete reaction speed test for each player. Whoever has the fastest reaction speed and the best trigger discipline wins the match. That is a really bad concept. Now, is it a good step into the direction that we need? Sure. I'd say it was a decent stepping stone. I think it was a pretty good evolution. A lot of games on Roblox was just straight up true stun. You would get somebody in a combo, you would make as many combos as you can that they couldn't get out of. Shout out Shinobi Life 2. The whole goal in that game at the top level was making a whole kit that had all combo extenders so nobody could ever escape your combo. That was the whole goal. And this is terrible. And there was also games with like evasive combat. Evasive combat's, honestly, I like it better than Deep Oaken, but it's still not a good combat. You're just able to press an evasive after getting hit with like an infinite combo. The more you get hit, the lower the cooldown gets. Yada yada. I'm gonna stop yapping. Bad experience. But overall, I think the lack of passion from developers to make the best possible PvP or PvE game is what's causing us to get to such lazy standards on our PvP and PvE. Now, content creators are farming, you guys. They don't care about the game. They're never on Roblox. If they're on Roblox, they're playing some simulator that they're just clicking to play. They're probably playing games outside of it. They don't actually care to see Roblox get better. They just want to see a game that they can get on and make lots of money off of because it's a massive game that everybody's playing. That's all they care about. And you can get them into the game. And by the way, guys, just so you know, content creators that are talking about how good a game is and they're hyping it up, they're not hyping it up because they think it's good. They're hyping it up because they're getting paid behind the scene to actually make the game look good. That's all that is. And now there's going to be some like smaller developers and they're not getting paid anything because why would you pay a small developer that's getting no views? So no hate to them, but most of the bigger ones, it is straight up just through payment that they're actually trying to get a game up there. When developers should be looking for games, because that is their job, is to find games and bring people to the game in order to actually build up a community. Because if you're known as a content creator for a game and you're the staple for that, the person that brought everyone to it, you're gonna become massively bigger than everybody else in your area because you found the golden gem out of every game, right? And now everybody's going to be on that. You are the content creator for that game, but instead they're just going around, they're getting paid, and they're saying what other people are doing. They get on a game, they think it's good, people start hating on it, it is now trash. They get a game, everybody says it's good, they're saying it's the best thing. The game falls off, they start hating on it. They're farming views. That's all it is. They're just riding the wave with whatever the community is saying. And that's a big problem. And another problem with the community too is games take time to get better, man. Like, it's not like you see a game, there's some problems with it, and you should just automatically hate it. Give the game some time to fix itself, man. Like, the developers, it could be the first time making a game. They're going through the experience too. Like, they don't even know what's like perfect for it. Like, it takes time to make a game. It takes money to make a game, and it's really hard to be resourceful and have complete freedom to change the game however you need to. Like, it takes time. Now, content creators, they just have no passion at all when it comes to the games. It's a big problem. If we saw content creators that were genuinely good at games, genuinely wanted to see games rise up, they'd be looking for games. They'd find a game that they genuinely enjoy. They would try to like build it up, build its community. That way the game could actually make money to make it better. And by rising a game up and being the content creator for that game, both sides of the party, the game and the content creator, are going to be making a lot more money, right? But obviously it wouldn't be as fast as hopping on to the new wave every 2 seconds and just constantly writing whatever the community is saying for money. It's just a big problem. We're not able to see any new games come up because content creators aren't willing to give the time of day to actually give developers the chance to make a game that everybody's actually looking for. And last but not least is player standards. I'm not gonna lie, your guys' standards are not high enough, and they're also not the right thing to be focusing on. When it comes to player standards, there's only a few things you guys care about, right? Graphically, it's pleasing to the eye. It looks really good. It sounds great. The sound effects are impactful, and that's cool. That is high quality like development work. Whenever something looks good, it looks good. You want to play the game. That's okay. But at the end of the day, that's not everything, because if there's a game that is genuinely high quality and it's been very polished and the PvP is great, the PvE might not completely be there yet because it takes a lot of money, but you can see the vision of it. That should be a game you're actually spending time to and trying to get up there, because just because the quality isn't up now doesn't mean that it never will be. That just means that there's not the revenue that is possible to make that game yet, right? And another big issue is you guys don't even really know what you want. If we hop into a game and we get into some stage VC, we ask people what's wrong with the game, they just say the PvE sucks, the game's too hard. You ask them why that is, they say nothing, or they just start spouting nonsense because they don't even know what they're talking about. They're just trying to make a point now. They're just trying to get people to ride their wave and get people to hype them up behind them. That's not cool. A lot of players also, as soon as people say that the game is bad, they instantly say the game is bad. Even if they didn't play the game yet, you just start trashing it immediately. The same thing with hype. If a game gets hype, the game's going to keep getting hyped. People are going to play the game. And it's just because people are riding the wave of whatever players think. They don't actually have an individual mindset for what they're looking for in a game. And if there was, we would be seeing other games that actually have the standards that you guys want. But it's not there because the standards don't exist. They just simply don't. All you guys know is you want a game that's better than the last game that you played. But I hope this game actually opened up some of your minds, because if we can get some of these changes going and we can actually ride a wave, maybe we can make a turnaround for Roblox. But right now, it is not looking too good, guys. I'll see you guys on the next one.